in our current circumstances,
Yes.
with everybody online in school, what are some things that parents really need to be mindful of during this
Right.
time that they maybe or maybe just have completely gone over their head because they're busy trying to work at home and
Right.
dealing with everything else that has changed.
Right. And it's like, yeah, you're going to give me another thing that I have to think
Exactly.
about
Whether
right
we were a
now.
homeschooler before or not, I mean,
Right.
we're on the internet a whole lot more than we used to
Right.
be.
Right. Um, I think that it's important and it's necessary, like I said. And I looked up a few statistics because
Mm,
I wanted to just bring some awareness to things as I answer your question.
yeah.
Because I looked, I wanted to see, was there an increase in pornography viewing in children during this time, right? And
Yeah.
so let's see. So it has gone up a huge percentage. It didn't give me a specific number because
Mm-hmm.
it's obviously still
Yeah,
growing,
because
but
they're,
it said it
yeah.
has grown up quite significantly
Mm,
in the last couple of months since March, right? Since
yeah,
everybody has
right.
been at
Mm-hmm.
home, but it says 90% of children ages 8 to 16 have seen porn. Now that doesn't mean they're consistently looking at it, but
Wow.
90%, right?
Huh.
That's a scary number.
Yeah.
And when you have most of our kids, we have our kindergartners now, right? Um,
Mm-hmm.
on Zooms, and I can't,
Yes.
imagine that.
Yep.
I have a 6-year-old,
Mm-hmm.
so I'm like, oh goodness. But they're
Yeah.
on all. They have to be up there for several classes, even as home. People that maybe weren't in public school, but we always homeschool. My kids still
Mm-hmm.
are participating in some virtual experiences a lot more than they
Yep.
had before, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so seeing these numbers, I said 90% because it was
Mm.
85 a couple years ago, right? And that
Hmm.
was for teenagers, 12 to 17. But now
Oh,
it's
wow.
90% from ages 8 to 16, and many of our children at age
Mm-hmm.
6, have these devices. And so I think
Mm-hmm.
that in this time right now where for some of us in our generations, well, we didn't have to be on the phone all day and we never had, we have
Right.
those mindsets sometimes with our children. But I think it's important for us to take a step back because this is the world that they live in. This is the
Mm-hmm.
reality of where we are now, that our learning
Yeah, that's a
experiences may
very
be
good point.
virtual. Even my homeschool tutorial is, we're planning that we might have to be virtual for our year next year if we have to,
Yeah.
come back home or start out and then
Mm-hmm.
come back, and so I think that we have to start there first. Our heart needs
Mm.
to realize this is the world that they live in. And so we have to figure out how to work amongst
Yeah.
that they're going to be virtual,
Mm-hmm.
they're going to be online now as a home, in our home. And
Mm-hmm.
even when they leave our homes, how are we protecting them? Because the internet could take you from one end to the other,
Right. Well,
right?
it's
And so,
like in our age, you
yeah,
saw these kids that were under so much confinement in the
right,
home, and then when they left home, they like went off the deep end.
right,
That so still it's what's inside you that
right,
has to eventually control you.
right.
And so yeah, it's
It's really
definitely the same
important.
way.
The tools again, right? Is making
Mm-hmm.
sure that you give them that so that when they're online and when they're that you are aware that there are filters. So a lot of times we don't know that there's things that you can help while you're on YouTube and while they're on,
Mm-hmm.
Zoom. Even we've had to worry about people just popping in on, random Zoom
Right.
calls and finding out the
Mm-hmm.
parameters around that. Teaching our children
Yeah.
even while they're online, what information is okay to communicate. Like if you have gamers,
Yeah.
right, kids that are
Oh
playing
yeah, that's
games with,
my boys. That's they're
they
all
do,
over.
or like when you're playing Fortnite, stop saying everybody's full name, where you're living,
Right.
don't.
Yeah.
And they're like, I'm just talking to my friends. But
Mm,
again, you don't know who else is, in that,
right.
playing Rumble, Team Rumble. I don't even know all the term. They tell me
Mm-hmm.
I probably need to educate myself a little bit more on Fortnite so that I can
Oh,
know
I
what's
know
going
nothing
on.
about that. Yes.
But but that's a part of it, I think, even in it's a challenge as us kind of
Mm-hmm.
understanding and knowing their world so that we can know because
Yes.
there's so many apps, there's so many things that kind of get
Mm-hmm.
overwhelming. And so that's kind of on my resource page. It really kind of other filters and other organizations kind of do some of the work for us, so we can know, okay, that's not actually a calculator app. That's something else. Okay. Those
Right.
are real things. And we think, oh,
Mm.
my kids are okay. They're doing their math calculations on their phone, but
Mm-hmm.
no, we don't know that that app is actually something where kids can share pictures back and forth. And so it's
Right.
really
Yeah.
just taking a deep breath, even in our all the things that's overwhelming as a parent, and saying, you know what, I know I have a lot on my plate. I know my children
Mm.
have a lot on their plate, even,
Yeah.
but what can I do, even the smallest thing that's going to help them in a moment? And it could just be a conversation to start out, like I'm saying, like, what have you seen? Have you ever, have you come across anything? And just open the
Mm-hmm.
door for it to be a safe space, I think does wonders for children, whether they're young
Mm-hmm.
or older.
Right, because they're not